Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our fortnightly Thursday morning webinar. So we're the Devon International Recruitment Alliance, and we deliver fortnightly webinars on a plethora of resources, including educational support for OSCEs, what you might need to pack when you come to the UK, listen to other international nurses' experiences of how it's been for them when they've come to work in Devon. There's a whole host of webinars available for you on our YouTube channel, which is Nursing in Devon. We're also on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're new to TikTok, so look out for our videos. Ready, ladies? Give us a like, give us a love, give us a share. Spread the word about nursing in Devon. Tell your friends about us. All the resources we post are free for anybody. So even if you're just starting to think about coming to work in the UK, there's a lot of educational support there for you. So we've got a few members of the team on this morning, so I'll just do a quick whiz round. So my name's Carly and I'm the Devon Alliance Pastoral Lead Nurse. I'll go over to Laura.
Thanks, Carly. Hi, everyone. My name's Laura. I'm the International Project and Pastoral Support Facilitator. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Vicky.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I am the International Recruitment Partner for UHP.
So those of you that are going to work at UHP will already know Vicky very well. And over to Emily.
Hi, I'm also one of the recruitment partners on the international team, and I look after Royal Devon University Healthcare Trust with hospitals in Barnstable and Exeter. Nice to see you all.
Thank you, Emily. Oh, and Kat's just arrived. Kat, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hiya, I'm Kat.
Hi, Kat. So Kat's our recruitment support assistant, and so Kat is almost the front door of the team. So Kat manages your applications and books you in for interviews. So for those of you that have already had interviews or thinking about booking, Kat is your go-to girl, and she's the front door of the service. Before you've had your interview, she'll book you in. All right, so we're going to do a presentation today on steps to registering with the NMC. So I would strongly advise you have pen and paper ready to make notes as we go. Please ask questions in the chat, all right? And Laura's going to manage questions. I'm going to have to turn my camera off because I'm going to screen share, but I'm going to go through the process, all right? But please shout if you've got any questions about registration. We are absolutely here to support you with this process, and we recognise it's very stressful. If you've got any recruitment questions, we've got two of our recruitment partners on the line. They'll be able to answer those for you. So ask me any questions and I'll just screen share. Right, hope this goes okay. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Can you still see it?
Perfect.
Lovely. Okay, right. So as we said, we're going to do a session today on everything you need to know about registering with the Nursing and Midwifery Council. So we call the Nursing and Midwifery Council the NMC. Okay, so for you, those of you that are just starting to think about that, you'll hear it referred to as the NMC. The NMC is our UK governance system. Okay, so for every registered nurse that works in the UK, we have to be on the NMC register. So that includes me. So I'm a registered nurse and I'm on the register. And there's certain standards that we have to meet for the NMC, and the NMC are there to protect the public, and it's about maintaining standards of patient care and safety. All right, so all of you that are registered nurses in your own country will have something very similar. It will just be called something different. All right, so we're going to start by the breakdown of costs. All right, because I know that sometimes that causes the biggest anxiety. And I'm also going to talk you through it, and tell you what we refund. So if you are offered a job through the Devon International Recruitment Alliance and you're successful at interview, I'll tell you which bits are refunded. All right. So the first thing is your qualification evaluation fee. So this is what you have to pay to the NMC when you put your application in. they cannot progress with your application until this amount is paid. It's £140. If you come through the Devon International Recruitment Alliance and you're successful, we do refund that money, all right? So that's the first bit, is having that £140 ready. Now, even if you don't progress with your application, for example, say you change your mind, it is non-refundable. So, you know, before you pay that, just be absolutely sure that this is the step that you want to take. So I'm going to go through these steps in detail further on, but I just wanted to start with this as a cost. So the next cost will be your computer-based test, also known as the CBT. This is a multiple choice exam, and you have to pay that to the test provider. It's £83. Again, this is something we refund, all right? And then the big one, so I'm sure all of you have heard about the OSCE. This is the Objective Structured Clinical Examination. This is the one, this is a biggie. This is the one where we'll give you an education programme when you arrive in the UK. We've got lots of webinars about the OSCE on our Nursing in Devon YouTube channel, just to start warming you up a bit about the requirements. So I don't want to spend too long on that, because this is a webinar about registering with the NMC, but we've done plenty of webinars where we have gone into that in detail. So if you come through the Devon International Recruitment Alliance, the hospital you are working at will book your OSCE and they will pay for your first sitting. That's £794. It's a lot of money, all right? Now, it's about a 60% pass rate on first time. However, if you have to go back and resit, if you failed more than 4 stations, it's £794 again. However, in my experience, and I've been working with international nurses for about 7 years, I've never known of a candidate that has failed more than 4 stations. It's normally a partial resit cost, which is £397. Again, if you come through the Devon Alliance, your hospital will pay your second exam fee. Okay, that's your resit cost, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the registration fee, which is £153, and that's paid to the NMC. So we're just going to go to the next slide. Now, my biggest piece of advice for you is to get your evidence together before you start your application, all right? We often see nurses that started the process and they've missed a document, or a document isn't up to the right standards. So please take some time in gathering that evidence first before you submit, all right? That's really, really important. Now, step 1, what evidence do the NMC need you to upload, all right? So you will need to enter your passport details. So all of us have a passport number, don't we? You'll have to enter your passport numbers, and you will see all of this on the NMC site. It's quite clear. You'll also need to upload a copy of your passport. Now, sometimes we see candidates that, you know, for ladies that may have got married, their passport might be in a slightly different name. If that's the case, you will need to upload further evidence, all right? So an example of this could be a marriage certificate or a divorce certificate, all right? Because we have to make sure you are the person that we're assessing. So if you are or previously registered in your country of training, so that's for most of you, so you've been working as a trained nurse in India, for example, then the NMC will ask you for the name of your regulator, and they'll want to see a copy of your registration certificate. Now, they'll also ask you to tell them your education institution's details. So it might be that you've previously been registered with the NMC in the UK, but that doesn't happen very often. So if you haven't, so the majority of you will need to put in the full details of your education institution, all right? Please don't miss any details, because they will come back. And again, that adds to more time on your application process. Now, some top tips from me. So when you're thinking about the education institution and, you know, getting evidence of your qualification, contact them, okay, and get another copy of a statement confirming the qualification that you've completed, right? That's a really good top tip. Very often the NMC will come back and ask for that. So for all your documents that are not in English, which they won't be, they'll be in your own language, you will need to provide the original document and then a photocopy of the original document stamped and signed by a translation service, all right? So this has got to be a complete and accurate English translation with the photocopy of the original document. It has to be by an approved translation service, okay? That's another common question that is often asked of us. You'll also need to put down the contact details of the translation service or the translator used. That application will not be received without all of that, and this is why it's so important that you get all of this right, okay, before you start. Investing that time to make sure you've got all of the requirements will save you time in the long run, okay? You cannot rush any of this. And again, like I've said before, if your name is different, or maybe your qualification evidence from your nursing college or your passport, you need to provide further evidence, like a divorce certificate, marriage certificate, so they can see why you've changed your name. Now, they'll ask you for your verifiers. Now, we often see delays with the verifiers verifying your application. Top tip, contact them and tell them that they will be contacted, all right? So to be ready, and they will receive an email, then they're ready to verify your application, all right? You don't want to add any more delay or stress to this process, okay? Because it's already quite stressful for you. Okay, so step 2, once you've done all of those bits, so you've entered passport details, uploaded a copy of your passport, you've got all your qualification evidence and it's all been translated and you've ticked all of those boxes, you are ready to submit and pay the evaluation fee of £140. Like I've said, do not do that until you've got all of your evidence together. So as I've said, this is non-refundable. So once the NMC receive it, they will come back to you if there's bits that they're not sure of or that bits that are missing. But remember, that will take some time. So if you've not got it all in hand and ready, they will have to come back to you, and that will add weeks and weeks to this process. So the NMC promise that they will evaluate your application and within 14 days, okay, but that's only if it's all in there. So again, get that all in order. So if you don't meet the eligibility criteria with the NMC will come back to you and you won't be able to proceed with your registration, all right? So again, another important reason why you need to get all of this in hand. If you meet our eligibility criteria, which I'm hoping you will, they'll email you and they'll ask you to do the next step, which is the registration application. So dependent on the qualification you have, you may also be required to do the test of competence, which the majority of you working overseas as registrants will need to do. So step 3 is the test of competence. Now, the reason that the NMC do the test of competence is that we have to assess the skills and knowledge of you. Okay, so obviously you've done your nurse training in a different country outside the UK, and we need to assess that you meet the standard of nursing skills that we require in the UK. Now, we also do test of competence for nurses in the UK that say I've had a break in nursing. So some nurses take a 10-year break to raise a family, and they have to rejoin the register as well, and they have to do a test of competence. So that sort of benchmark is there for everybody. So as most of you probably already know, that does involve 2 steps of the test of competence. You've got the CBT, as we talked about earlier, and the OSCE, so the Objective Structured Clinical Examination. And they are all dependent on the part of the register you're applying to. So, you know, the biggest part of our recruitment is adult nurses, but we also recruit mental health nurses and children's nurses and midwives. So there'll be a bespoke exam dependent on your specialist field. Okay, so that's really important. And also the CBT, there are paediatric CBT. So if you're thinking of working in peds, a lot of the hospitals do request that you've done the paediatric CBT. So that's really important. And again, if there's something you're not sure on, that's what we are here to support you with if you're not sure which exam you need to be registering for. So before you get to the UK, we expect our nurses to have started the first part of the NMC registration process. So you would have got to this stage and you would have taken your computer-based test, okay, and passed, and you will have a acceptance letter from the NMC. Then you're ready to fly over to the UK. The second part of the competence is the OSCE exam. You will undertake the OSCE exam in the UK in our Devon hospitals, all right? So you have to have completed all of this apart from the OSCE, and we will do that in the UK. Okay, so how long is the OSCE valid for? So you've got to have passed both parts of the OSCE, of the test of competence, so that's the CBT and the OSCE, within 2 years of each other, all right? You can do them in any order. Most people do their CBT and then come over and do their OSCE, and that's what we ask you to do. So if you're thinking of coming to work in Devon, we will ask that you've done your CBT before you fly, all right, and you'll do your OSCE when you arrive. So once you've done them, once you've passed both of them, they are valid for 5 years. But to be honest, that's, you know, by the time you've passed your CBT and OSCE, you then got your PIN number, all right? So that 5 years is bags of time. Now I've done a link there. So this is a link for preparation materials that are provided by the Nursing and Midwifery Council. So what I'm going to do shortly, I'll post that link in the chat. Strongly advise that you go on there and look at those learning resources, because that will really help you with your registration application. All right, so I'll do that shortly. I'm going to play this webinar at the end. I just want to finish this presentation, and this is more information about supporting you with your application, and you'll find it really helpful. So, as I've said, you really need to prepare your evidence, okay? This is the common reason why we see a delay in your application, is because something it hasn't gone in properly, or perhaps you know, a translator document, you've not got the stamp on there, or the translator contact details, you know, those little things. It's all in the detail. And we've got a saying in England, which is failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Please prepare. It's really important. So I just wanted to touch upon the support that you'll get through the Devon International Recruitment Alliance. And, you know, we provide these fortnightly webinars to support you, but also we support you through the process. So obviously, if you're thinking about applying through us, I'm going to ask Laura to put the link where you can apply in the chat. So you get your CV in through the website. Kat will contact you if you fit our requirements. So we ask that you have a year's worth of experience post-registration, and that you've got your English, so that's IELTS or OET at the required levels. We don't have any say on those levels. It is what the NMC says it is. We can't change it. But please also put an application form in if you're currently studying your English, because we like to be in contact with you. So for those of you that meet the requirements, you know, get your application form in. Kat, who's on the line, will get in contact with you and arrange an interview. You'll be interviewed by a panel of 2 nurses, and if you're successful, you will then be given the 1 Devon job offer. And as part of our support for you, we will give you these educational webinars. We introduce you to the diaspora groups. So the diaspora groups are relevant to the country that you're coming from. So for example, if you're an Indian nurse, there is an Indian Nurses Association. If you're coming from the Philippines, there is a Filipino Nurses Association. We put you in touch because they add to the support you will receive in the UK, and they will become part of your Devon family. They will also get in touch with you and arrange specialist foods to be delivered to you that you might be missing from home. Absolutely wonderful organisations. We will also provide you with a pastoral passport before you arrive in the UK, which I'll give you a first glance at in a moment. This is excuse me, this is a really good document. It tells you everything you need to know, and we strongly advise you to read this. It's been put together with our clinical leads from all of our hospitals in Devon, to give you top tips on arriving, to talk to you a bit about the OSCE, common abbreviations that are used in the UK, essential packing information, what the weather's going to be like, all of those things that are really important to you. So we're really proud at the Devon International Recruitment Alliance that we really do offer you with a huge support programme. So before you arrive in the UK, we will introduce you to your clinical managers where you'll be working. That really helps to reduce anxieties. And we will set up WhatsApp groups. So Laura's on the call, is in charge of setting up the WhatsApp group. So you'll be put in a group dependent on which cohort you're arriving in. So for example, if you're coming to work in Plymouth in August, you will have a WhatsApp group chat for you. And we'll set that up about 4 weeks before you arrive, so you can all start to make friends. Myself and Laura and our recruitment partners are in the chat. We're there to answer any questions that you've got. So about a week before arrival, we arrange a pre-arrival check-in with you on Microsoft Teams. So we get the group together, have a chat with you, talk to you about expectations, what you need to expect when you arrive in the UK. And then we also set one up about a week after you've arrived, just to see how you're going, if there's any big problems that we can help with. So a good example of this is, we had a nurse last year who was having some issues with their hospital accommodation, so we helped to sort that. So we will really support you with anything that you need. We're setting up a One Devon support network, and this is going to be monthly webinars, educational resources for all of our international nurses in Devon. Okay, so Devon is a really large geographical area in the UK. Have a look on the map. Beautiful area, and we're very lucky to live here. But this is something that's very, very new and very different to coming to if you apply through the Devon Alliance, and that's something that a lot of other recruitment teams don't provide. And we will also provide you with ongoing career development. We recognise that most of you bring with you a lot of experience, and we want you to be in those senior leadership roles in the future. So we're looking at fast track routes for you. So maybe you come in as a band 5 and work as a staff nurse for a bit, and then we put you onto leadership programs to get you into those senior leadership positions. Okay. So first glance at our pastoral passport. So this just shows the content. Now I am reviewing this at the moment. I've got the pastoral passport spread out on the dining table. I'm reviewing it, updating it. But this is just to give you an idea, really. So we've got some webinar information on there. Like I said, packing guidance, weather, what the accommodation's going to be like, and obviously you will get 8 weeks free accommodation when you arrive, and then you're expected to find your own accommodation. There's a very robust health and wellbeing support programme for staff that come to work in Devon, and the contact details are there. If you feel like you need something a little bit more, there's counselling services in there for staff, and there's also instructions on how to make a Devon cream tea. So that's one of our things in Devon is we like to eat lots of Devon cream tea, so have a look at it. It might not be up your street, but most of our overseas nurses love it. So this is just to give you a bit of a glimpse on the webinars we've done. As I've said before, Nursing in Devon YouTube channel. I expect Laura's already put it in the chat. I can't see the chat you see at the moment. So you can see,
I've added it. I've added everything.
Thank you. You can see this is just a glimpse of the webinars. There's loads on there. Please use them. They're there for you to use. We've had talks on dementia. Dementia care in the UK is very different to what you may be used to. We've had some of our diaspora groups come and talk to us about the support they can provide. We've had tissue viability to talk to you about the grading system of pressure sores in the UK. We had Brian come along on the 3rd of February to talk about the cost of living, what to expect in terms of rental costs. So all the commonly asked questions that we're asked, all the answers are on there. Obviously we've had a lot more since the 3rd of February, but I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse on the webinars that we've provided so far. And we are happy to take feedback from you. If there's something that we haven't provided and you think you'd like to see that, let us know, and we're happy to do that. So I just wanted to give this an example of feedback that we've had from one of our international nurses. We're very proud of the support that we give our international nurses. You know, we pride ourselves on that extra support. We go the extra mile for our nurses in terms of pastoral support. You know, we bring you into our Devon family. We had a great, we were talking about it yesterday with the team, we had a really good Christmas party in December, where we sang Christmas choirs. We had Christmas carol songs from Africa. We all sang Feliz Navidad and had great times. So you really will be welcomed here and supported. So I'll just leave that there for a moment, have a look. But I think that's a really good example of how well supported you will be if you come through the Devon Alliance. So I'm hoping that if you were starting to think about it, I hope we've really firmed up your decision to come through the Devon team. We are an NHS team, so we work for the National Health Service. We recruit nurses for University Hospital Plymouth, North Devon, the Royal Devon and Exeter, Torbay and South Devon, and we also recruit mental health nurses for Devon Partnership. And we're just starting to recruit podiatrists, so our allied healthcare professional colleagues, radiographers, and occupational therapists and midwives. So we're really just starting to spread our wings. We are a team that's been in place now for just over a year. We had our first arrival last August, and I think we're getting up to the 500 nurses mark at the moment. So we're really proud about the work that we've done so far, and we are very responsive to your needs. We will change things as they go, but you know, if you're looking for a supportive team to support you through the process and you found it. And this is just an example of some of our nurses that have come to Devon. So you've got nurses there exploring the area of Devon. You've got some nurses there outside Exeter Cathedral at Christmas. You've got some nurses there in the OSCE training centre. I can see the lighthouse down at Plymouth there. And the one thing for me that stands out is they're all smiling, so they're happy. And you only have to look at that photo to see that. So I'm just going to stop there because I've been talking for too long and I need a drink. And I'm just going to, Laura, have we had any questions?
No, we haven't.
No questions?
No, all good.
Okay, that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll go back and play the video that we planned. Right, share content. Here we go. Oh, hang on, I need to do the sound bit, don't I?
Yes.
Right, remind me how to do that.
So you unshare.
Yeah.
And then when you click share again, there'll be a little button that you click that says include sound.
Yeah, got it. Right, so here we go. Let's go to the video. Right, just loading. Give me 1 second. So what I'll do, I'll share some of this video just to give you a taster. But the NMC hold a call and they talk about the resources that are there available for you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, which is covering an overview of the new support materials for the test of competence that we'll be launching in August of this year.
Could hear it, just couldn't see it.
Some housekeeping bits. I'm sure you'll be aware of these if you've joined us before. So everyone except the presenters today will be automatically muted. The raise your hand feature will not be used today, but there will be opportunities for questions throughout the session, and we'll be taking the questions at the end, just so it makes things a little bit easier for those people that are talking to you today. For audio only participants, you can email your questions, and on the screen there you can see an email address that you can use. And we may not be able to address everybody's individual points, but we will of course come back to any feedback that we've got, so we'll try and get through as much as we can today. You can download the slides using the resource function, so don't be worried if you're not following everything on the slides. You can download those later. And as per our normal routine, we'll be recording these sessions, which will be great for those people that are unable to join us. So a good reference point to look back on. If I can have the next slide, that would be great. This is the agenda. So for those of you that have not met me, I'm sure most of you have. I'm Jack Bland, and I'm Head of Testing Services at the NMC. I'm really pleased to say that we've got Dave, that you can see on the screen, Dave Mellor, who's one of our directors from Alpha Plus. We've got Penny Howard, who is our Chief Examiner from Nottingham. Again, you can see her, which is great. We've got Romy Short, who's been leading on all things CBT. And we've got Barry Ricketts. Special thanks to Barry as well, because she's coming from Oxford Brookes, talking to us a little bit about Train the Trainer. And hopefully, although I can't see her, you might be able to see her. We've got Priya Dutta, also from Alpha Plus. And again, she's been instrumental putting together some of those resource materials. So I'm doing a quick overview. That's why I'm on the screen now. We're going to be handing over to Dave, who will be taking us through an overview of the materials to just give you a little bit of a flavour as to what we've been working on and where to find this stuff, which will be great. A few examples from Romy, who's been one of our lead assessment leads. She'll be going through some slides for us today, which will be great. Barry will go through some bits around Train the Trainer, and then we've got about half an hour, just under actually, to run through sort of Q&A, and we'll all be on the panel doing all of that for you. So that's great. If we go on to the next slide, just before I hand over to Dave, just a couple of things. This session is about the preparation materials. We've previously done these sessions to cover the design element of the new test, so do please go back and look at those slides if you've not seen them already, the pre-recordings. So today we're focusing on preparation, and again, the questions, if you can think very carefully about your questions and keep them focused on all things preparation, that will help us get through the session together. Of course, as I would always say, we're here to support you. You know me very well, you know my team, so if there's anything over the next month or two before we go live with the new test that we can help you with, please reach out. You've got our details and we'll be really happy to help you. So I hope you enjoy the session. I'm really excited, and over to Dave from Alpha Plus. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks very much, Jack. So yeah, as Jack says, I'm Director of Assessment at Alpha Plus, and I'm going to be talking through the sort of general overview of what support materials are there, and then Romy will talk about some of the assessment content that we've got examples for. Alpha Plus are an assessment consultancy based up in Manchester. We've been working with NMC for a couple of years now on the new test of competence that's been introduced, and we've been responsible for all of the production of the assessment materials, the design of the assessment, and also for much of the support materials. And we work closely with NMC and with the test centres, the delivery partners like Barry at Oxford Brookes to deliver these assessments which are coming live. So if we could have the next slide, please. So what I want to talk through today is an overview of the design, what's new, so what's different from what currently exists and what we've done and how we've improved it, how the test specification and the blueprint work together, what the support materials are that are available and where to find those materials, and then Romy will talk through the examples of practice assessment content that are there, so you can see what sort of things we're doing. If we could move on to the next slide, please, and the next one. So start with the design. What's new? If you look at the current structure for the assessments, at the minute, the CBT for nursing has 120 questions and lasts 3 hours. And embedded within that CBT are a number of numeracy items. Going forward, the new test of competence. The numeracy is split out from the clinical questions. So it's in 2 parts, and there are 15 numeracy questions, and candidates have 30 minutes to answer those. And then 100 clinical questions, and they have 2.5 hours to answer those. And these are all multiple choice type questions for the clinical, and for the numeracy, the candidates are required to input numeric answers and units in some instances. So the 2 are split apart, and the candidates have to pass both parts in order to move forward through their accreditation process. For the OSCEs, currently there are 6 stations, 4 API stations, which are assessment, planning, implementation and evaluation, and then 2 skills stations. But going forward, the new test of competence is assessing the new standards that have been introduced by NMC. And there are aspects of those standards that need further emphasis and further assessment. So it's moved to a 10-station model. It's still got the same 4 AP, I and E stations, but the skill stations, there are now 6 of them. 2 pairs of 2 skills, which are very practical and hands-on, and then a professional values and an evidence-based practice station. And these are both written stations, and they are there to cover off the new form of the standards, because that's an area that wasn't really addressed in the previous design of assessment. The marks vary according to the different tasks, whether it's AP, I or E, or whether it's a skill state.
Right, I'm going to stop sharing there. I just wanted to give you a taster. So it goes on to talk about the educational resources that are available for the NMC. The links are on the presentation. So for quite a lot of you, will catch up on this webinar on YouTube. So you'll see all the links there. So please have a look on the NMC site and look at the resources that are available. So what I wanted to do, because I know it's been a really dry session, I just wanted to end with something fun and just to try and show you how beautiful Devon is. I don't know if this is going to work. I wanted to show you. So as the team all know, I have a dog that I'm obsessed with called Ted. And I often take it. We've had a really a hot spell this week in the UK. So we had 40-degree temperatures Monday and Tuesday, which is very unusual for us. So I was able, because wherever you are in Devon, you're always going to be near to a beach. So I live in North Devon. So Instow Beach, which is my favourite beach in the world, is about 15 minutes drive. So I'm lucky enough to be able to take the dog down there early before it gets too hot. Now I'm going to see if I can play you a video. Right, bear with me. Laura, tell me if I'm screen sharing properly. Just going to load it now. Right, can you see that?
Not really, it just says it's an image.
Okay, let me download. It's just downloading. Here we go. Right. Okay, so let me just screen share the right screen. Share. Right, yes, I want sound. Right, can you see him?
Yeah.
So this is just, I just wanted to end the presentation. I know it's been a really dry subject, just to show you how beautiful it is down here. You'll see there's a really good webinar on the YouTube channel of Emily out sailing in her boat.
Oh, that's amazing.
Please watch it just to get a feel of Devon. So this is little Ted.
Oh.
And you'll just see, so that's just looking over to Appledore from Instow.
Beautiful.
and that's 15 minutes away. And like I said, you know, there are a lot of places, there are a lot of beaches in Devon, so you will never be that far away from a beach. Even if you go to a city area like Exeter or Plymouth, they're all within train distance. Yeah, we are all very lucky to live in Devon.
Yeah.
So, have we had any questions at all?
No, that's it. We're good.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for everybody for attending, and for those that will watch on catch up. Remember, give us a like, give us a love, give us a share on our social media. Look out for our new TikTok videos. Just new to TikTok, but we've got some great videos of some of our nurses, our international nurses, doing activities in Devon. I'm not going to say any more than that. You'll have to wait and see till next week. And we'll be back with you in another 2 weeks with our next webinar. Drop us a line if you need help or you've got any questions. I hope you've enjoyed today's webinar. Take care and stay safe, everybody.
Bye everyone. Thank you for coming. Take care. Bye.
Bye.